तमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। You can come offer a bhajan. Come. Yeah, come.
हरि ओम। प्रेम मुदित मनसि कहो राम राम राम, राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। मुदित मनसि कहो राम राम राम, राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। पाप कटे दुख मिटे लेत राम नाम, राम नाम। भव समुद्र सुखद नाव एक राम नाम, भव समुद्र सुखद नाव एक राम नाम। राम राम राम, राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। परम शांति सुख निधान दिव्य राम नाम, परम शांति सुख निधान नाम। निराधार को आधार एक राम नाम, एक राम नाम। राम राम राम, राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। परम गोप्य परम इष्ट मौद्र राम नाम, परम गोप्य परम इष्ट मंत्र राम नाम। संत हृदय सदा बसत एक राम नाम, संत हृदय सदा बसत एक राम नाम। राम राम राम, राम राम राम, श्री राम राम। महादेव सदा जपत एक राम नाम, राम नाम। काशी मरत मुक्ति करत कहत राम नाम, श्रीमरत मुक्ति करत एक राम नाम। राम राम राम, Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram Ram. Mata Pita Bandhu Sakha Sab hi Ram Naam. सब ही राम नाम. भक्त ज्ञान जीवन धान एक राम नाम. भक्त ज्ञान जीवन धान एक राम नाम. राम राम राम, Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram Ram. Ram Ram Ram, Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram Ram, Shri Ram Ram Ram. Hari Om.
A set of questions is almost as thick as a pack of cards. Okay. Do you have some more practical tools? Means some were already given, okay? That's the idea. Do you have some more practical tools to get rid of this addiction of constantly doing to feel complete? That's a good question, because it recognizes that doing is an addiction. And so, with all other addictions, what to do? First, acknowledge that it is there, that you have already done by asking this question. And then know that if it is an addiction, you don't have power over it and you need help. So whenever you feel like doing something for the sake of getting validation, for the sake of feeling complete, for the sake of whatever, convert it into prayer. Do some prayers, do a puja. This way the doing is spiritualized, and slowly it will, and since you are not doing the puja to get accolades, then it will slowly resolve in that. Ask Bhagavan's help. Okay. When we next one, when we experience temporary moments of moksha, when there was first suffering, like food is only good when we are hungry first, how is ultimate moksha different? How can there be bliss without the opposite? So yeah, we already know what moksha is like because we have temporary experiences. Sleep is one experience, very temporary but very satisfying, and sleep is an experience of moksha. And whenever there is what do we call subject-object fusion, and the Upanishad describes this very well. So first, Ishta Vastu Darshanat, little bit of moksha is there, little bit of happiness. You see something that you love, and then a few teeth come out. Why not all the teeth? Because it could be for somebody else. You see the chocolate cake, you feel like smiling immediately, but you don't know it's for you. Then you are assured, no, this is for you. And then all the teeth come out? No, most of them come out. Why? Because you still have to become one with the chocolate cake. And so you wait for the person who gave the chocolate cake to leave so that you need not share the cake. And then you fall upon the cake and it becomes one with you, and then that is what is called pramoda. Moda, priya, moda, pramoda. Three states of some kind of a joy is there. Now, this is just what you call here in the letter, in the question, temporary moksha. Now, what is moksha is when you don't have to depend on anybody or anything to be entertained. And you don't have to depend on anybody or anything to drop sorrow, pain, etc. Because the sorrow and pain have been resolved in the wake of this knowledge, because this knowledge has shown you that you are not incomplete. You are full. You are not needing anything, not wanting anything. In the wake of this knowledge, what is there is not an experience. Any experience will naturally have the opposite. Its opposite will be there, but this is not an experience. And if it is not an experience, what it is? It is yourself. Yourself, how you want to be. And this, what we call moksha, this freedom is without an opposite, because that which transcends dharma, adharma, and time, and cause and effect, and past and future, that which transcends all these divisions, these dyads, is what is called moksha. So therefore it cannot have an opposite. If it had an opposite, then moksha would be limited, and it will have another opposite which will delimit it, belonging to the same order of reality. We are only used to things existing in opposites. Moksha has no opposite because it is you, and there is only one thing. It doesn't have anything like it, it doesn't have anything unlike it, it simply is. Okay? So that is there. Next one. What is it like to be a jnani in a room full of jnanis? Smiley face, okay, after the question. Yeah, awesome. That's all I can say. So, do the three states exist simultaneously in me? Waking, dream, sleep. As a potential, yes. As a potential. But then, they are not really there. They are mithya. If they existed in you, then you would be tied and tethered to them. They are not as real as you. You, as though, uphold dreaming, sleeping, waking. You uphold these three states, you inhabit the states, and they are not in you, neither are you subject to them. That is the idea. But these are tools that the waking, dream and sleep is a very invaluable tool to understand how the Atma goes through these states. The same Atma goes through these states without becoming waker, without becoming sleeper, without becoming dreamer. So it's a very nice thing to do, see that. And also this pedagogy of the three states is used primarily because it is a universal experience. That's why. Okay. And they can't exist simultaneously in you. They are there as a potential. And then as a jiva, how much do I create the world other than pratibhasika? That's a good question. Other than my own subjective reality. Well, there is also free will, and you can either use your free will in accordance to dharma, or you can abuse the free will. A terrorist, for example, what will they do? Abuse. They don't have to kill 1,000 people, but they do. How did they do that? They'll do all kinds of things. They'll make the plane crash, they will make some big place, set it on fire, do kinds of Duryodhana's descendants, they are all, and they do these kinds of things. And they are not compelled to do these things. It is the abuse of the free will. And so, in this way you can create some havoc, because one can create havoc because there is a flow of Ishvara going on and the abuse of the free will is creating havoc. Then also the proper use of the free will also is very good, because what does it do? It can help stave off some of these difficulties. Like somebody sees the terrorist with a bomb in the hand and they go and get timely help. They could have said, okay, the terrorist is throwing it in that direction. I have to go this way, so I'm not affected, let me go. They could have probably done that, but they don't do that. Even though they know they may miss their connection or whatever it is, they still go out of the way. That is not abuse of the free will, that's the proper use of the free will. And so whenever that happens, there is a certain kind of a co-creation of this endless universe, you can say. If we define an attribute, do we automatically define its absence? Simultaneous knowing is the simultaneous knowing of all the total of all absences of all attributes as good as attributelessness. Where would Brahman fit into this idea? Is the Jagat just all knowing? Yeah, Jagat is all knowledge. So Jagat is manifestation of Brahman's knowledge. That is where Brahman and Maya would fit in. Maya is the raw material, Jagat is the creation, so to speak, and Brahman is the knowledge. So the mixture, as it were, the combo of the knowledge and the raw material brings out the Jagat. And the Jagat is nothing, it cannot be, it is just name and form, you can say, or it is just knowledge. It's knowledge, that's all it is. Omniscience of Brahman in the form of the Jagat. So is the total of all, if we define an attribute, do we define its absence? I don't know what you mean by that. That's why I answered the latter question first, and so that I would come back to this later. But I'm still not understanding. If we define an attribute like red, okay, red is an attribute, so I say red cloth. So if I define the red, am I defining its absence? No, not necessarily. Only if you have Vedantic eyes, then what are you doing is that you are able to see through the mithyatvam of the red cloth. It's neither cloth nor is it red. This you will see when you understand. Just like when you see the mithyatvam, mithyahood, mithyaness of the pot, that it is all clay, it is not pot at all. So like this is it's like you will see the absence in the wake of this knowledge. Just because you define an attribute does not make it attributeless. Is the Sakshi present when sensory data is directly perceived? Yes, because otherwise how will you say perception has taken place? Perception is taking place, and along with the perception, you are there knowing that the perception is taking place. Yes or no? Yes. When you don't know what to say yes. Okay? Yeah. And sometimes you need to say no. I will tell you, please say no, even if you want to say yes. Okay? Because we need to move on. So, yes, so when I say, I see this flower, I say, so that means that I know that I see this flower. So there is a seeing, and that seeing is object referenced and is also subject referenced. I see the flower means I know I see the flower. When I say I know I see the flower, there is the consciousness and there is also object. So when I say I know I see the flower, I am the sakshi of the ahankara which is seeing the flower. So the ahankara morphs into the sakshi almost simultaneously, even as the perception is taking place. So then, sakshi is present, yes. Is the subject-object split necessarily there when the sakshi is present? Yes. That's why I am able to say I have sight of this flower. Subject-object difference will be there, but the sakshi transcends those differences. The witness transcends the difference and is able to have a higher vantage point than becoming the participant in this seeing enterprise or in the sensory data and enterprise. So it's a higher vantage point because I'm seeing that the seeing is going on. That second seeing, the one who sees that the seeing is going on is sakshi, and that sakshi is of course overseeing the subject-object split. The split is as though. Split is not real. We have to see that. The split is not real. Okay? So then it seems as if the sensory perception can be distorted during illness, states of meditation. Can we still say that the knowing of the object, yes, just because you saw something, just because you saw snake instead of rope, doesn't mean that it is rope. You had wrong perception for whatever reason. So you had wrong perception. Why? Because there was a snake sitting in your head, waiting to come out, looking for the proper adhisthana. Why was the snake in the head? Because there is fear of snakes. Mortal fear of snakes is there, and so the person with the fear of snakes, anything, if there is a garland, they will say snake, and even if there is a stick on the ground, they will say snake. What to talk of rope? If they see the rope, definitely it is what? Snake. If they see a hose pipe lying there, water pipe in the twilight, then also what they will say? Snake. So wrong perception does take place. So wrong perception takes place. Why? Because it's not because the object is not exactly like the rope, like the stick, etc. Wrong perception has taken place because I have made a mistake. In this case, I have made a mistake because of lack of data. What is the data? Light. Lack of light. Because of lack of light, I have mistaken the rope for what? Snake. But then this can happen in interpersonal things too. Well, like two people are talking and then one person comes to the conclusion, I am not wanted, nobody loves me. And the first person says, no, that's not true. You are misunderstanding whatever I said. And here what happens? Again, wrong notions. The eclipse of Pratibhasika, wrong notions have come in the way to distort the knowledge. So it doesn't mean that wrong knowledge has taken place, not because the object is faithful to whatever it is. The object, whatever that person said, is exactly that. I was not able to see it because of something going on in my head, my own parallel reality. That doesn't mean that that knowledge is not vastu tantram. Knowledge is always as true as the object. If I have perceptual difficulties, I cannot blame the object. I have to wear glasses, I have to have cataract surgery, I have to do all other things. And if I have other notional difficulties, then I have to get rid of the notions. I have to question, why is it that I feel this way, even though the other person is not saying what I think they are saying. Why is there a paradox between externally directed sense organs and the desire for something they cannot provide? What is the paradox? Sense organs are there and the desire for something that they cannot provide. Yes, it is there. Why does avidya even exist? It does not exist. It is mithya. Okay? We have to see that it is mithya. I'll talk more about that. Why are we unaware of our true selves? I know it happens because of Maya Shakti, but why does all this stuff happen at all? Why can't we just revel in ourselves? Why does time, space, creation, indriyas, etc. have to occur to make moksha even more special? Otherwise, moksha is not special. Everybody is in a swimmy feeling like, oh, everything is one and what not. Really speaking, this is from the standpoint of the so-called creation. Creation itself is not there ultimately, because the creation is dependent on what? You. Yes. We are studying in Kaivalya Upanishad that Brahman is who? Yes. That Brahman is you. So creation is dependent on you, and so what is part of creation? Even avidya is part of the creation. So therefore, who created avidya? Yes. So as though. So then to say, why is the avidya there? You did it. Mayyeva sakalam jatam, mayi sarvam pratishthitam, mayi sarvam layam yati. Will come 17th verse or something, we are coming to that. Mayyeva sakalam jatam, in me alone everything has occurred. Mayi sarvam pratishthitam, in me everything is established, as it were. And then Mayyeva pralayam yanti. So all the things resolve in this me. What is this me? Satchidanandam Brahma Ishvara. This Ishvara-esque me. So really this Brahman, this Ishvara alone is there. And then when there is Ishvara and Jiva split, and that split is felt here in the form of alienation, in the form of pain, sorrow, etc. When the split is badly felt, then what? Then only we look for options. There is a mistake made upon the self. I am as good as my thoughts, my feelings. There is I am finite, I am an idiot. All these mistakes made on the self drive me to remove avidya. I feel the pain of avidya, and I feel the pain and I feel all these paradoxes. Why is there life? In order to say, okay, I don't need to be born again. Why do I need to be born in order to not be born again? One more paradox to all the paradoxes you have listed. And why should there be avidya so that I can go gain vidya? It doesn't make any sense. But from the standpoint of the Jiva Ishvara split, it makes every sense. I come into this world alone and totally what? In pain, totally alienated from other jivas, from the Jagat and from Ishvara. 3 forms of alienations, and from myself. You can add the 4th one also. From oneself, from other jivas, from Ishvara, from the Jagat. This fourfold alienation is my capital. So then I believe in that alienation, suffer through all kinds of difficulties, loneliness and everything, and then I have to retrace the steps to see the cause of this alienation and remove the alienation. Now, is the alienation real? No. So, since the alienation is not ultimately real, what am I doing? As though alienation is as though removed. Like Mithya alienation is removed by Mithya Upanishad, really. That's really what it is. Like Mithya hunger is relieved by Mithya food. That's what it is. So, but from the standpoint of the Paramarthika Satta, there is none of these things are there. There is no alienation, there is no fear, there is no sorrow, there is no pain. I am not alienated from anything. In fact, there is no Jagat even to be alienated from. There are no other jivas. Everything and everyone is myself alone. All is me. Sarvatma Bhava. So, therefore, there is no alienation. This is the reality. So, if one is born from the standpoint of birth and everything, this is the journey one has to go through. This is why. Why am I born? Because I have to go through this journey. The cause of birth is so that, especially human birth, is so that I can retrace the steps and be one with Ishvara as it were again. Not that I am separate from Ishvara, but I think I am separate, so I walk back the things. But from the standpoint of the absolute reality, there is no ignorance, there is no jiva, there is no jiva jagat bheda, there is no Ishvara jiva bheda. This bheda itself doesn't exist. All there is one. So therefore, that is the idea. So one has to quickly gain this knowledge so that one can enjoy Paramarthika Satta. Then what do we have? How is thought different from a vritti? No difference. Thought and vritti are same. Can you please describe in detail what they are? How they work together with the indriyas, buddhi, maya, self? And which shastra can I study for further knowledge on this subject? No, thought is vritti. You can study Keno Upanishad. You can do that. Thought is nothing but vritti. Vritti is Sanskrit way of saying thought, thought form and thought, etc. What they are means whatever is occurring in your head right now, that's what it is, okay? Yeah, and then how do they work together with the indriyas? So in the same way, like you have a thought or you look at something, you look at a pot and there is a thought. And what is that called? Pot thought. Pot thought occurs with pot vritti occurs along with the indriyas. So even without the indriyas, pot vritti occurs. But if you are looking at a pot, that particular pot vritti occurs in the head, because in tandem with the indriyas. Then how does it work with the buddhi? Then there is a recognition of that thought of the pot in the buddhi. I know this pot. See how the thought works in the buddhi? That is how it connects with it works in tandem with the buddhi. How does it work with maya? It is maya. Vritti is mithya. Okay? It is mithya and the self. The vritti, the self is known by a special vritti called akhandakara vritti, which is transmitted by the teacher in the form of this knowledge and then which is understood. Every vritti is finite, kshanika, momentary. This vritti called akhandakara vritti, brahmakara vritti is also what? Finite. But then how can a finite vritti give the knowledge of the infinite? Because the infinite being you, it just removes the ignorance and points to what the truth of you is, and therefore it is free. It makes you free. Vritti dies away, but that which it communicates directly involves you, points to you. So therefore, so that is how it is connected with Brahman. And then, study any of the Upanishads. Kenopanishad talks about how the mind has all these vrittis. That's how it starts. What's the difference between a guru and a teacher? Let's do part 1 first. So, we can say that every guru is a teacher, but every teacher may or may not be a guru. Guru has a special two meanings. Special meaning is there in the Shastra, even though the word is used very loosely these days. Dance guru, music guru, cooking guru, and who can forget stock market guru? And then when all else fails, life coach, life guru. When you don't know what to wear, you call up this fellow. Okay? And then they will tell you. This is for celebrities who have not only wardrobe malfunctions but wardrobe meltdowns. Like they see that there are 300 dresses in the closet and they look at it and then they feel overwhelmed and feel like crying, and so they call this person who they have retained on a fee. And then so that person will make them breathe in a paper bag, calm them down, and then say, don't look at all the clothes, just tell me what you are in the mood for, and then you just blindfold yourself and pick whatever comes and wear it and then go. You will be fine, you are going to have a great day. They pep them up and send them off. There is also life guru. So which one, will the real guru please stand up? So even though it is used loosely, the term guru, in the Shastra, there is only one, there are two definitions and only one meaning, both of them. So, Mahavakya Upadesha Kartru Guruhu. Mahavakya Upadesha Karta. The one who teaches the Mahavakya. What is Mahavakya? That sentence which unfolds the oneness between Jiva and Ishvara. So that alone is the Guru. No, none of these persons can be Guru. And then the word Guru itself has an etymological meaning. Gukaraha andhakaro vai. The word Gu stands for tamas, ignorance. Rukaraha tat nivartakaha. The one who removes this ignorance is called tamas of ignorance. The darkness of ignorance is called Guru. Andhakara nirodhitvat guruhu iti abhidhiyate. So both the meanings are same. They just talk about the one who teaches you the Upanishad. That is what is Guru. And then what else? Can we have more than one guru at the same time? Sure, why? We can have many gurus, no problem. Or change them throughout our lives. Sure, go for it. Yeah. So this is, the days of studying with one guru exclusively, they are kind of more or less extinct. Because we live in an information age. And we live in a no Shraddha age. So, lucky are those people who had this experience of only studying with one guru. That is not possible these days, I don't think. It is still possible, but it's rare. Because we live in an information age and there are so many Swamis all over the place. Here a Swami, there a Swami, everywhere a Swami. And then what are you going to do? And then so therefore there is a lot of information and also there is a lot of information, and then there is Zoom. Before pandemic we didn't know Zoom. We thought Zoom was the noise made by a car, when children playing with a car. Zoom, zoom, zoom. That's all we knew by the word Zoom. We had no idea. And now everybody knows Zoom. Even somebody sitting in the Himalayas with the Kamandalu will be having an online class. Okay, and so therefore the pandemic really made Vedanta and all these other modalities extremely famous. And so now there is too many gurus. All of them are coming into your living room via your TV, via your laptop. And so that is one thing. And the second thing is that this is also an age of no Shraddha, very little Shraddha. The Shraddha has to be cultivated, and it is scary. It is scary to cultivate Shraddha because it feels like a commitment. And these days nobody wants commitment. That's why nobody wants to get married these days. Yeah, because it's a commitment, and I don't like commitment. I don't like to be tied down. It's just, I just want to be free. This is their version of moksha. I don't want any commitment. And then, so as a result of that, what happens? So this is a very interesting combination. There is a proliferation of information of all kinds, so many teachings, so little time, and then at the same time, I don't have the same kind of Shraddha that my foremothers and forefathers used to have. The earlier generation of students and the generation before that, somehow either the Shraddha came easy or they cultivated the Shraddha and stuck to one person, whether they liked that guru or not, whether the guru spoke to them or not, they just stuck to that person and studied. This is how it was. Now, the combination of too much information through too many sources and the total lack of Shraddha makes it a many guru situation, multiple guru situations. And so I don't see anything wrong, because this is how the exigencies of the situation is. And sometimes even for the person who is not changing gurus like changing the clothes, even for that person, sometimes it may be necessary to change the guru, because if you are not getting what you came to get, if you are not getting, then you can change. And so even Pujya Swamiji studied with 3 gurus. That's the reason, because he was not getting completely what he came to the spiritual quest. For what he came, he was not fully getting it. So he did not change. He just happened to be in Rishikesh, so he studied with somebody in Rishikesh, like that it was. And so he studied with 3 different gurus. Now the thing is this, that we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be honest with what kind of a commitment I can give to this knowledge. If I am not committed enough, and if there are many gurus and that's comfortable to me, I should acknowledge that. I should say I am not able to commit and I just like to do this. And we saw in the Kathopanishad, Shravana, what is that? Na ayam atma shravanena labhyah. Na ayam atma shravanena labhyah and pravachanena labhyah na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. This atma is not gained by listening to many people. The Upanishad herself tells this. This atma is not gained by listening to this one, that one, everyone, all the time, because one can get confused, you see. And so this atma is not gained by that. Then it is also not gained by pravachana. Pravachana means just memorizing everything and then listening to discourse and memorizing everything. Then how is it gained? Yamevaisha vrinute tena labhyah tasyaish atma vivrinute tanum swam. This atma is gained by the person who is a sincere seeker and who will do all that it takes to gain this atma, and only to her or him will the atma reveal itself as the truth of oneself. And so it's all about the commitment. It's not about who you're studying with or how many people you're studying with. It's about your own commitment, and when that is firmed, then the knowledge will take place. How do I turn emotional pain into a tool of inner transformation rather than letting me harden or create a resistance? The answer is already here in the question. How do I turn emotional pain into a tool of inner transformation? Write about it. Many people write about it, and if you can paint, paint it. If you write poetry, write it, because then it becomes a source of transformation. So we see that, especially with poetry. A lot of sad people, they have become poets. Nothing wrong, it's a wonderful thing. They could be sitting and crying, but they are writing beautiful poetry. It's a wonderful thing. They have managed to channel their anger, channel their anger and their pain and whatever it is, the sorrow, into a work of art. And we see this. We see this in fine arts, painting, etc. This is a very nice thing to do, because directing the sorrow, other than using it for drowning, directing the sorrow elsewhere is actually very, very good. Very, very good. And so that is one way. And then of course there is inner child work that has to happen. One has to embrace the emotions without judgment and with a lot of compassion. And this is the inner child which has not got attention when it was small, so it doesn't let the adult also grow up. The adult wants to do something, the inner child hijacks the adult. So you have to make a pact with the inner child, and then you have to embrace it. You have to allow it to be embraced. You have to integrate it into the adult, not throw it away. So through these mechanisms, one can grow and transform the pain. Then, in the same way that I naturally wake up from sleep without external intervention or any disturbance within the dream itself, I find myself present in the waking state. There is a sense while dreaming that something is amiss, yet the transition into the wakefulness happens on its own. If this is so, why is awakening from spiritual ignorance? I knew she was going there, So why is awakening from spiritual ignorance not equally natural and inevitable for all beings? Because there is no ignorance. That's why. You are already free. You are already whole. So from sleeping to waking, there is prarabdha. Because of prarabdha, you wake up. Prarabdha means the karma. Karma wakes you up. Even though you credit the alarm clock, alarm clock, nobody wakes up. They shut it off and go back to sleep anyway. But prarabdha wakes you up. Prarabdha puts you to sleep also. So here what is the situation? It's not that you have to gain this knowledge. The knowledge is already there. And it is the most natural thing. Even though it feels contrived, waking up at 5 o'clock, heading to the temple, then coming to meditation, and then class 1, class 2, and then in between some more classes and all these things. It seems contrived. I have put myself in this 3-month mess. One may be thinking, it seems kind of forced, and how am I going to, why can't I just like as easy as it is to wake up from sleep, why can't I wake up to this knowledge? Because this knowledge is not an experience. You wake up to what? The waking experience, is it not? Yeah. Waking state, is it an experience or not? Yes. This Atma Jnanam is not an experience. If Atma Jnanam, if Brahman were an experience, then what would it mean? It would mean that it would be finite. Because an experience is necessarily that which is born, which is, and which is gone. In what? In time. So if this knowledge is in time, then it will be time bound. Then time will become the master of this knowledge, not the other way around. So this knowledge is not an experience. So just like I wake up from sleep, can I wake up from sleep to not waking, but can I skip waking and wake up to Turiya? Not possible. Because the Turiya is the waker. Turiya is waking up. Turiya is the one that was sleeping. Turiya is now filling up the waking state. The waking state is an experience. The Turiya is going through all these experiences, and the Turiyahood is free of all experiences. That is what we have to understand. That's why it is not like waking up from sleep. It's not like one aha moment. It's not. It is more of a growing clarity as clods of Ajnanam keep falling off. So Ajnanam falls off a little more, and then what you think you know now, 6 months down the line, oh, I don't know what I was thinking, I know now. Then 3 years down the line, I know now, like that now is there. And so waking is an experience. Waking up to this knowledge is not an experience. Okay? Yeah. Why does it require effort, grace, guidance? That's because there is something standing in the way of seeing that it is not an experience. That's why it requires all of this above. Okay? Yeah. 2 more, let's finish it. Now, if one wanted to share the teachings with a child, would it be appropriate to introduce the idea early on that we are not the body and mind? Or is there a certain level of maturity required for such understanding? Yes. Yes to both. There is a certain maturity required, but at the same time you can help the children practice. If you make them sit and meditate, they will not be able to meditate. They can do some kind of a meditation in action. You can take them for a little walk and say, we are just going to walk and look for certain things. Let's look for all the things that begin with a letter M. So you can, and then the mind is focused in a different way. And then whatever, if the child starts to prattle and talk about other things, no, we are playing this game. This is what we are going to do. We are not going to talk about anything except when we see something starting with M, we are going to show it to each other, and we are going to do it turn by turn, and we are going to do it slowly. Then you can also sit with them and then do something meditative, like a little drawing or something like that, where their mind is focused in a certain way. And then you can also tell them that there are children's stories in the Panchatantra and all, which can give them a little bit of a separation between the body and the mind and themselves, and so you can do that. You can tell those stories. But for serious Vedanta, it's for adults. Maturity is definitely required. On the one hand, it seems that not teaching the truth early in life could reduce that teaching the truth, not teaching the truth. Teaching the truth can reduce suffering and bring one close to something. Let's say Brahman. Okay, yeah. So, but on the other hand, I wonder if it might be confusing or even harmful to tell a child they are not the body or the mind. Yeah, if you give them serious Vedanta, it will be harmful. You have to make it all a play, and you can help them focus. That is what you can do. Now, you say that there is an order behind everything, that nothing is random, not even karma. But how can we truly know this? We can't. Karma is a non-verifiable belief. We cannot. We can't know this. There is no proof. Except in a sense we know, because whatever we seem to do comes back. Comes back in a certain way. You see that there is an order. You can see the order in your own life, so perhaps. Then, how can we truly know this? We cannot. We have never seen a reality without it to compare. Correct? Isn't it something we believe? Absolutely. Not something we know, we don't know. It's a non-verifiable belief, but like with every non-verifiable belief, whether you believe it or not, it still is a belief. If I say I believe in karma, I am not better than the other person who says I don't believe in karma. Since it cannot be verified, if I don't believe in karma, then also it is what? A belief. If I believe in karma, what is it? Belief. This we have to understand. Either way, it's a belief. And then, life often feels more about survival than justice. That is a perception. That is one's perception. Intuition or deja vu don't convince me. They don't need to. It's okay not to believe in karma. It's all right. So please, not through faith, but through clear reasoning, how can this order be known, not just assumed? You have to, the karma is a block here. You have to come out of karma in order to know the order. Because here, the non-verifiable belief and everything has become a block. You look for the order everywhere else. It's very orderly. Wherever there are eyes, they see. Wherever there are eyes, they hear. Wherever there is a mind, there is a complex. You see this? Especially a human mind. And that's why there are branches of knowledge. Because the world is so orderly, we can study it. If the world was totally random at all times, we could not study. We could not teach biology, geography. All these are orders. Very, very beautiful. Physics is an order. Everything is an order. We can teach it, we can understand it, we can predict it. Psychology, look at that, very close to us. Psychology is an order. Any branch of knowledge is orderly. We can say, given a certain kind of an upbringing of neglect, of fear and abuse in childhood, the person will grow up to have these kinds of issues of trust, issues of betrayal, whatever it is. We can make a correlation between the person's background and the person's emotional makeup. We can make a correlation. And then we can see that there are these kinds of difficulties. We can also see that there is an order, even in the disorder there is an order. All the personality disorders, in this DSM, this manual talking about the disorders, narcissistic personality disorder, then they will have criteria. It is well studied. Even in that disorder there is an order. Borderline personality disorder, manic depressive disorder, all kinds of things. Even the disorder is orderly. Think about how huge this order must be. So don't get stuck on karma. You don't have to believe karma. If you don't need to, don't believe karma. Look everywhere else and you will see nothing but the beauty and the orderliness which is Ishvara. Okay? Yeah. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramagaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma mrityorma. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः।